My name is Panharoth. I have invited 5 anonymous speakers into our podcast today, and they wanted to remain anonymous because they want to express their opinion more freely for the sake of the podcast to remain factual and non-biased. Everyone say hi, please.
Hello.
Hello. Because my topic is connecting women to education, I want to hear some of our guest speakers talking about their experience as well as just, talk about some of the points that I have pinpointed in my essay. Therefore, let's ask some questions. Do you guys feel any inequality as a woman in Cambodia? I mean, we talk about it all the time as friends. We're like, oh, our relatives say this and this about us. But today, of course, you have to express it.
Well, in my family in general, we can see a lot of inequality between men and women. Even with my younger cousins, he's a boy. He get he his parents allow him to access in a private school. But then when we start talking about his younger daughter, they're starting to say that she's a girl. There's no need to give her access to private school. Public school is enough. She's a girl. She doesn't need any higher education, they says.
You have to tell me more about it because I've never heard about that story. Like, for real. Like, it's not even for the podcast. What do you mean?
It's for real. It's just like we know all of us are from the same the same private school, right? And most of my family are most of my family siblings cousins they're also attending that private school. But my younger cousins, he's a boy. He's the oldest in that family. He gained access into that private school. And as for his little sister, she's a girl. Their parents reconsider putting her into a public school. And when I asked why can't you just give them the same access to a private school, he said she's a girl. She doesn't need to get any more access and things like that. They just said that it's enough for her to be in a public school. There's no need for girls to get any more educated than that. And I strongly disagree with that opinion. I voiced my idea to them. I keep on telling them that they're both your child. Why not just send her to what her brother's already at, especially when that school provide her more than a public school can ever does. They just put my opinion aside and things like that.
Okay, so it's a Cambodian thing. Apparently, private school are better than public schools. It's just a general thing in Cambodia because public school don't receive as much funding. They lack a lot of stuff required.
They lack control and security.
Right. So basically,
yeah.
So basically, you're just trying to voice your opinion, telling why don't you let the girls go to private school? Why the guys would be able to go to private school? That sort of thing going on here, right?
Yeah. I mean, I did experience going to a public school for a while, and I can say that it's not an ideal place it's not an ideal place, especially because her older brothers already get access to a private school. So why not just let her in a private school too?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if they both were going to a public school, I would not really care that much. But since her older brothers already have access to it and they're wealthy enough, so why not, Why would they need to bring up cases like just because she's a girl, she doesn't need any more educated than that?
Do you think that women not being to pursue higher education is only for poverty and traditional barrier, or do you see other reasons?
There are other reasons, such as they would think that if we were to pursue higher education, it will take us it will take us more years to finish it. And they think that as a girls, we should settle down,
Right.
make a family,
Better
get
than
married, have children.
That's true. So like
Yeah,
my
so
options for college are already laid out for me. So like when I decided to join college, so which the options are occupations that are dominantly females, like working as an accountant, sales, or retails. And as you can see, there's not many options. One time I asked my family their opinions on becoming a doctor, and they say, "Why do I need to pursue that? It takes too long for me to graduate, and when will I have time to date? Look for suitors." So yeah, that's my experience.
Thank you for sharing. I can relate to that a lot. I mean, even though I get to go to like, America to study, I still hear a lot of like criticism. But I think about it is that my I built so much efforts, looking for scholarships, looking for this and that in order to go to America. But at the end, it's like they brought it down. Being in here and listen to what we as women has experienced. Do you have like any say, any comments? Do you have any such similar experience?
Yeah, hello. So
Hi.
obviously, in our society, well, thank you for having me here, first of all.
You're welcome.
But obviously, in our society, the focus is on men, giving men more power. But in terms of education, that's also true that boys are usually um, the preferred, right? And there is like an economic incentive to that.
Mansplaining it to us? Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh.
I don't know what I'm trying to say. This is
Is he telling us that this is all about men?
yeah, so when you talk about educational barriers, obviously the focus is on women, and rightfully so, because men definitely have more access and they are preferred. And even once you consider that education, a lot of fields that are predominantly female or women, they get paid much less than fields that are predominantly men. And sometimes it's almost looked down upon, right? Um,
yeah,
the way certain majors and fields are looked down upon compared to the fields that are traditionally more uh, male dominated. And it speaks to also a larger problem that not only are we from the beginning creating economic inequalities between men and women, but it also restricts men and women from doing what they actually want, right? By saying that you have to do, men should do a certain job and women should do a certain job. That also affects men and women not only economically but also psychologically and mentally. Like, what's wrong with a man being a nurse? What's wrong with a woman being a doctor? And what makes being a doctor and being a nurse different? Why do nurses get paid less than doctors? Culinary school, you see that most women are the cooks, but then at culinary school and once you graduate, the top paying cooks are chefs, and the chefs are men. And so that also speaks to the way, even before education, uh, we as a society have conditioned ourselves into well, not we, it's the society from the beginning has conditioned it to be that whatever a man does, there is more they view to be more powerful or a better idea, and then they look down on women for doing the same thing.
Wow, thank you for your input. Our guest speaker also talk about his experience and how society has conditioned us to think that men is More privilege in the society. Anyways, the case here is about women. Let's make it about women today. Even though that kind of like, that's sort of like, you know, part of our discussion anyway. Oh, okay. So we're all in college right now. Like every one of us in college. I mean, you guys in college, I'm in college. It's just that in that environment, do you feel like intimidated by like other students, like especially other male students? Do you guys have any stories about that feelings that you felt?
When I went to college, I feel like I was intimidating by them, but then like when I study with them, work in the same group together, I feel like they're normal, just like us. Like,
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to be intimidating about them. Yeah.
That's true.
We
Okay,
just
I
They're
do feel
funny.
intimidated by some of them sometimes. I just feel like they're a bit like they're coming off so strong sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like they're coming off so strong sometimes that I feel like, oh my god.
They're very confident. We should learn
Yeah,
from
because it
them.
happened to I think one of my project. I was like, oh, that's so cool, blah blah blah, and then my professor graded the paper and I got even better score than him. But because of how he was like presenting it, it makes it sound so cool. But actually, nothing really makes sense. And the professor were actually listening, so it's like this doesn't make sense. But yeah, that happens. That happens.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah. So basically, like from what I heard, we're facing inequality literally everywhere.
Yeah.
From what? From your house to your college
On the
to
street.
what? What
to
else?
social
Let's not
media.
mention
On
when
the
we're
street.
working.
Place. Yeah, workplace.
Yeah, we haven't even like none of us has worked in like an office job, any workplace yet. I can't. I mean, I've heard horror stories about it, about women being mistreated in workplace, about the sexual, what is it, harassment in the workplace, all sort of stuff.
Yeah, and they always victim blame. It's like, what are we wearing? Like,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
always
right.
the
Okay, the first
the
question is
what we
always what
wearing.
are we wearing?
but
Yeah.
then again, like we get catcalls no matter what we wear outside. You know.
True. Yeah, so the problem is not what we wear, but the problem is
From a man.
Yeah.
men.
Like,
Our male guest speaker, see, that is your problem. And of course, I believe that this happened everywhere. Even when I was in America,
Yeah,
I still
in the
see this kind of
society.
stuff. Like in a society, like the point of this, like of me trying to write so much or like trying to inform people more about and by comparing and contrasting between Cambodia and other well-developed countries, it's just to like inform, speak up for like other women in society to better our society for us to, make this a comfortable to a safe space, safe environment for women. Because we are human beings. We have our women's rights. Look, 1920, the start of a women's rights. Oh, never mind. It's 1848. That's the beginning of women's rights movement in the United States. Like, it's been a while. 1848 to 2022. How long has it been? So it's been 174
No, it's more than a decade.
years.
Yeah.
It's been like centuries, but look at where we are now. We're still struggling in,
Society.
in a society
it's true.
where we should be coming together, which is so sad.
But it's like for us, a developing country, the ideas of like inequality, like especially like when we mention how like girls doesn't get less education than men, so like we're in our society like I'm very fortunate enough to like study English like talking with you on this
Mhm.
podcast, learning a second language,
Mhm.
attending college, but like some women in the countryside, like they got into a child marriage, arranged marriage, and they
Yeah.
are forced to
At
leave
an illegal
and to
age.
work. Yeah, so like they're not like as fortunate, so
Yeah, it's not just the countryside. I mean, we all know like a few
It still
people.
happen and yeah,
Yeah, it
true.
happened even in the
true.
urban area where it's supposed to be more well developed. It's
Yes.
supposed to be more modern. It still happen. Like I don't understand why, to be honest. Yeah, you can marry and stay, but what if the husband is abusive? What
Yeah,
if
that's the
he
thing.
has another, what if he cheats on me? What if,
Oh, speaking
what
of
if one day
cheating,
he just
Yeah.
decided to move to like, what if one day he just decided to go away? Like, what am I gonna do?
You can't do
That's
anything,
the
especially
problem.
because you got married so young. We don't even have access to it. We can't even make ourselves financially stable without anything, you know?
speaking of cheating,
Right.
it's almost normalized in our society, especially with
Oh, I know,
women
right?
in their 40s. Like, not our generations, it's less common. Of course, it should be as it should be, but in like my mom's generation, it's almost normalized. Like, oh, men cheat. That's just what they do.
Speaking of the matter, it reminds me of this one saying: "You are a woman. You shouldn't be doing this." Have you guys ever given that talk? I've been given that talk a
Oh
lot.
my god, from whole life.
My whole life growing up. You are a
Yeah.
woman. You shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be do that. You shouldn't wear
Okay,
that.
You're a
That.
woman.
let's play a game. Let's play a game.
Okay.
What have adult ever told you? Let's take turn. You are a woman. You shouldn't be doing blank. Let's take turn answering that. Who wants to start first? I want to start first.
Okay.
You you are a woman. You shouldn't be talking so loudly.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
have that
true.
said
My
to
grandma
me.
always say that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One more. Walk
Walk
quietly.
loudly,
No,
like
quiet.
the
Oh, do not,
yeah.
right? Yeah, do not walk
Okay,
quiet.
fill in the sentence. Fill in the sentence, guys.
So what is it again?
You are a woman. You shouldn't be doing blank.
Oh,
Okay. So you
Yeah,
are a
I already said
woman, you
it.
shouldn't you are a woman, you
sh-
shouldn't laugh too
Be
loud.
doing.
Like you
You
have
shouldn't.
to close your mouth when you laugh. Don't show your teeth. Don't open your mouth.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what happened. That's what happened.
Back then, I don't think they would call us a woman. They would call us a witch just because we laugh so loud.
She's possessed.
The laugh, the laugh
Imagine.
that is too loud and open our mouth too wide. Uh,
Okay, anyone else?
Uh,
Anyone else?
You are a woman.
From what you've heard.
You should cover up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we dress really modest here.
It's like it all came down to choices. Like, yeah, I like to dress modestly, or it's what considered modestly, and like some people might want to dress differently, and it all came to our choices. So, I mean, we actually
Yeah.
don't want to hear that you should not dress like that comments, no matter what we wear.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
heard
like-
phrases like, yeah, a good woman doesn't do this. Not just you're just a
Yeah.
woman. Like, oh, good woman should not do this.
Oh, yeah. That.
Yeah, I
thing.
can't. I can't even play with my younger cousin because it make me seem childish, and that's not what a good woman should do. I need to look mature. I need to behave calmly. It's
like
something
don't
like
run
that.
around, something like that.
Yeah.
Don't play around
Don't
too
run
much.
around. Don't play around. Just basically, they want me to
Behave.
just sit down, shut up, and be quiet. Just sit there and look pretty. Basically, just sit there and look pretty. Just shut up and don't talk.
Yeah.
Don't do anything. Just sit there quietly.
If you don't talk, how would people know what you are as a person?
they don't want to know.
I mean, I understand. Like, okay, the from what I heard, mostly it's because the point of doing this is to make sure that you can marry off. But at the same time, it's like, how would a guy know you as a person if you don't even talk? If you don't
Well,
even laugh at his joke?
well, some people think that like women should behave. So yeah, they judge from it.
How about our guy friend?
Yeah, so circling back to the university thing about male dominated fields and female dominated fields, actually, they hesitated putting me in accounting because they think accounting is more of a woman dominated field. That was their first hesitation, but well, in the end, they still made me come into accounting school. So,
But there's no male or female profession. Don't you feel like it?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
at the end
anyone
of the
can do
day,
anything.
don't we have the same goal?
Yeah.
Some want to make money, some want to help people.
Guys, but despite it being like a female predominantly field, like most job would actually like hang out a like flyer saying that they're looking for male specifically. Because
Oh,
my mom was an accountant and she told me that when a woman got pregnant, she take pregnancy leave, right?
Oh,
And when
yeah.
she take pregnancy leave, they took her spot and gave it to a man instead, you know, because
Wait,
they
did
always
that
assume
really
that
happen?
yeah, that really happened. So because they assume that she's not coming back to work, she's gonna take care of her kids now, and
Yeah.
most of them like do not want female worker because they always take pregnancy leave, you know. Just for that 2 months they can't handle it, like it's too much.
Okay, well, it happened to my mom too. Like, my mom got laid off because she has me.
Yeah.
And she was just telling me about it the other day. And, like, as soon as she didn't even have me yet, as soon as her boss saw her wearing a wedding ring, he was like, you know what? We actually already have too many workers and we need to
they like
lay you off. Even though my mom was like, she's been working there for years, and it was only until she was married that she got laid off. But to call it a female dominated profession when mostly the managers and CEOs are males, it's kind of misleading.
Well, actually, now like they have more women, not more, but like they do have like women's manager and things. Yeah, like my mom's work as a manager. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But, I mean, we see some changes. We see some changes. But for you guys get to go to college. Everyone here get to go to college despite some discrimination. We still here. We're still where we are at today, which is some changes. I mean, if you compare it to like the 1975.
Listening to our guy's friend opinion, like we can see it as like even he can see that there's something wrong with it. So that's the first step into making change, right? Recognizing that there's a problem to begin with.
Yeah, basically. I mean, we all recognizing it right now by being in this podcast. We're all recognizing the problem. We're trying to address it. And of course, we're trying to propose a solution.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think need to be changed in order for us to be in an environment that's more, that's a healthy and stable environment for us to thrive in as a woman?
First of all, if you're financially stable and if you can provide your kids to let them get higher education, then don't discriminate. Just let them, boy or girls.
I think people should, speak up if they
that's true.
don't like it.
100%.
If they don't want it or don't like it,
because
so
like
just speak it out.
I know, right? We should not normalize it. So that's why we should speak up about it.
Yeah, and in workplace, for example, uh, women need to give birth. Okay, if we don't give birth, who's gonna give birth? So just because we have to have a child, that doesn't mean you can just just lay us off because you can't handle us leaving for 2 months. You know,
Mhm.
like
I think it's
uh,
I think it's shorter now, or like most of them doesn't
yeah,
even
it's
take
not
up
even
all those
2 months
2 months. Yeah.
anymore. Exactly.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just for our well-being. If your how's it, employees are healthy, won't they be able to work harder for you now that they also have
Yeah.
another dependent? That there's a lot of lawsuits about something like that.
Yes.
So now the American companies are trying hard to, um, you know, to solve that problems, even though it hasn't come so far yet. But like, we want to see those changes. We want to see some changes. What about any government agendas that you think should have in order to help with this problem?
Well, despite like the laws are on our sides with like providing women's maternity leave, like the bosses or the managers like still have the powers to like they make excuses like, oh, like you don't get this chance because of this reasons, blah blah blah. But we know that the reasons was just, even if the law is on our side, like sexism still exists like in their minds. So we have to change that in the next generation.
Yeah, so implementing the law is right, but we should
Yes.
also try to create this mindset for everyone where it's like,
And we all should know our laws.
I think your perspectives are more important than mine.
Aww.
why?
Wow.
Because
Wow.
it's a issue for women.
You're valuing
About
us
women,
very
not for
highly.
women. It's about women.
No, the reason why I bring you in is because I don't want it to be too biased, you know? Like, this is what we think, but what if it's not the case?
We think it's actually our experience, right? It's not even what we think.
Oh, no, I mean, it's not about that. It's just about
that.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna end it here. And thank you, you guys. Thank you for coming here.
No
No,
problem.
thank you for helping us. Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yay, I
I'm glad
finally
I can
got
share
to
my
shed
experience
light.
with you, Rod. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
What
you.
about our male speaker? What about our male speaker?
Our male speaker is really shy in his black shirt.
I think I said enough. I don't think
Are you intimidating by us? Huh? Are you?
Are you intimidated by us now? Is the role reversed?
I think the internet is intimidated by you.